Okay, so I'm back. I had a little mental meltdown there. That's another symptom of being on these treatment drugs, is that your brain goes completely blank all of a sudden. But we were talking about BOOP and that I had been diagnosed with that, which is the treatments for all these autoimmune diseases are pretty similar. So they were treating me and it was working, but we still couldn't exactly figure out what or why things had happened. So I kept looking for answers. And I just kept asking different doctors. Another thing that I did that was super helpful, and I'm so glad I did it, is I put all of my tests, every doctor that I went to, I would say, can you do a printout of what you did today and like a little summary of what, if you found anything new, if what were the test results, what are you looking at, the possibilities, and a lot of it was CTs. I would say, can I have a copy of that? And they would put the CT scan on a disc for me and hand it to me. So I had those in my folder. I had pictures from surgeries. I had notes from the pathologist, because they anything that goes to pathology, blood work, anything, radiology, they always have a report of what the specialist said. This is what I see in the CT or whatever. They always have that. So I have all these records, and then, when it gets to the point, if I have to go to the ER because I'm having chest pain, I just grab my notebook and I hand it to the doctor there. And my folder got to be pretty big, but I would put little notes, and I had my specialist actually was very kind and wrote a summary, a 2-page, actually it was 8-page summary of this is what's going on, this is what we've done, these are the treatments she's had. And if I have to go to another doctor, if my doctor's out of town, or if I have to go to the ER, I can just take that with me and say, look, this is what's going on. Because when you go to the ER for something and you say I'm having chest pain, they don't know that I've had lung surgery on both lungs, and they don't listen when you tell them. They don't pay attention, and then they do an x-ray and see these huge black spots or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh, I think you might have this or that, or they just start throwing things at you, and they really have no idea what they're dealing with, and you know better than they do. But if you try to tell them that, then they get upset because they're the doctors and they know more than you know. But in reality, if you're the sick one and you've had this illness for years, you know a lot more about yourself than a new doctor will know. But you have to keep looking for that doctor who has seen this before, or who has heard of this before. Um, and it's hard to find, but I called people I went to high school with who are doctors. I called, my specialist and said, can you ask your colleagues? And do they know anybody? And do you know anybody? And just, I reached out to anybody I could until I found somebody who had heard of this. But that's my advice, and the notebook is a really big part of it, keeping track of everything. And even if you're 4 years in, you can still say, I want copies of my records. I want, can you write a summary to your specialist? Can you write a summary so that while I'm seeking, and if your doctor says, no, I won't do that, or no, why are you seeking other help? You have every right to seek a second opinion, and if your doctor doesn't want you to, then something's wrong. If your doctor is keeping you on a leash, something, either they're not confident in themselves, or they know that what they're doing is not right. So just reach out and grab information from everywhere you can. And as for me, like I said, I'm doing good, and I finally quit fighting with trying to get down on the steroids, or off the Plaquenil, or off the Humira, or off of whatever all the other medications that I'm on, and because when I do, I get sick. So I've kind of accepted I'm on these medications. I'm going to be on these medications. Um, this last time I felt good, went to Atlanta, did fine, and then I took my injection and didn't feel good for a day. So my husband said, are you sure that, do you think you needed your shot? And I think about it, and I didn't feel like I did, but I know if I don't, that I'll feel sick. So as long as I do what I'm supposed to, the other battle is also being on pain meds. The biggest, and doctors and specialists in pain management will say this, the biggest trouble, the hardest thing about being on pain meds is knowing your limit, because you hit these ups and downs in pain relief, and when you have the pain relief, you overdo it, and then you end up diving down and feeling sick. And you can go, after you've rested, you go back up and you're like, oh, I feel good, I better do this and this and this while I feel good. And I've learned, even if we're having a great day and we've been through a bicycle ride through the neighborhood, and I have to go lay down for a little while. Even if they're having fun, I have to rest, because if I don't, if I keep going, I know I'm not gonna fare well the next day. I'm gonna crash. So finding that balance is a very hard thing to do, and I've been tracking it, and tracking it has been helping. I need this many hours of rest. I need to sleep later in the morning if I need more sleep than other people, and I've found a good balance, I think. But I guess that's it for today. You can subscribe, or please comment, because comments and feedback is what I'm going for here, is to support other people in my position and anybody with autoimmune disease that's dealing with it, because people who don't have it, you can talk to them and they're empathetic, sympathetic to you, but they don't really understand, So and like my mother and my family's been going through this with me, and they understand because they've been with me, but it's hard when you have a struggle inside your body that nobody else can see or feel. So comment, and I will comment right back at ya. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks.